So Carmelo Anthony reignites his past, his story, I guess, from on he was up against it was George Karl days in Denver. He talked about how, what was going on with him and George Karl and what his first encounter was like with George Karl.
Oh, we was gonna have issues. The first day he got the job. He got the job a couple days before we played Milwaukee Bucks. So the whole thing was, I'm not coaching no game. My first game, I wanted to be against Milwaukee Bucks. Cool, go back home. They fucked you over there. I know the business. I know the game at the, and I really don't know the game when he came to the team. I'm 21 now. All I know, I got a big name coach coming. George Karl, coach Milwaukee, coach Seattle, Gary Payton. You know what I mean? All of that. We get to Milwaukee after shoot around, call me to his room and tell me, hey man, like I think you overrated. Like you have a lot of work.
Yo, that's crazy. First sentence?
Listen.
Nah.
That nigga's embarrassed to be next to me.
Look at this. Nigga don't even want to look at you, B.
Yo.
Nah.
Hey, George Karl, watch your fucking mouth, man.
Yo,
No, he started that narrative though, like the defensive narrative. But I'm gonna get to that point. The first shoot around, he come to me and say, like, look, man, I think you overrated. We have a lot of work to do. I know I ain't, you know what I mean? I know I got a lot of work. I got a long way to go in this league. But my nigga,
you just got here.
You just got here. Like you ain't asking no questions of like who's who, what's going on, what's the vibe, individual meetings with every player to introduce yourself. You ain't do none of that yet. You called me. Told me I was overrated. Looked at him. All right. So yeah, you remind me of I see your role on this team. You're more like Detlef Schrempf.
Bro, nah, get the fuck out.
No, this is where it's born. This is a fact.
Listen, I heard so many stories about George Karl. George Karl is a piece of work, man. You know the word I want to use. You do. How was that the first thing you say? You got to know him being drafted there, he's going to be the franchise player. You have to know that. He just won a title with Syracuse. Legendary what he did in that year. So you have to know when he comes there, this is the guy. And that's what you say? Whether you want to believe that or not, now I get it. How many times we've seen guys have great college careers and come to the league and it doesn't translate, right? So I get it if you coming from that angle. But how was that the first thing you say to the best player on the team? He ain't get drafted that high for no reason. He came there to be the franchise for the Denver Nuggets. Yo, George Karl, man. Listen, man, I've heard some stories. Lord have mercy. Listen, man, that's crazy.
Real quick, George Karl also responded to the video, but he posted the video and responded to it. Say, hey, Carmelo, let's not do this. You're telling stories that are 20 years old. Let's move forward. And you were overrated, and you wish your game was as efficient as Detlef's. So,
hold on, George Karl said that, or you just added that?
No, he just said that. He posted the video up today. He posted the video up.
I seen that. Hold on. You saying George Karl also said you were overrated?
Yeah. Today he's saying that. Which, to a lot of sides to a story, the way y'all go crazy over Carmelo, I love Carmelo. I love his podcast. But the way y'all talk about him, I don't know if it's you included, he is overrated. He is overrated. I always say you ain't no damn LeBron, you ain't no damn D Wade. And that's how the people had him as. And that's cool though. Detlef Schrempf somehow is being kind of slighted. Detlef Schrempf was no Carmelo Anthony. Let's get that straight.
But he was super solid. He wasn't no slouch. So yeah, we ain't gonna throw him under the bus. This ain't got nothing to do with him. He had a great career, and he was tough. See,
pioneering the Euro game, and in this era, he might kill a little bit more. But
Melo got a real following, and I don't. You know what's crazy? I don't know if he's overrated or not. It depends. If what we're talking about. If we're going, okay, you know, if you putting them up there with Durant, LeBron, Kobe, his peers, Wade, them guys, then it's like, I don't know, because, you know, them guys got MVPs, them guys got titles. So for me, overrated in what aspect? You know what I'm saying? If like I said, if we comparing him to that, then okay, may have a point. If we try to compare him to the great small forwards, the Dr. J's and all that stuff, then I get it. But if we're talking about you know, just a great basketball player that can put the ball in the bucket, then he's definitely not overrated. But if we're talking about because even his teammate in the name was saying how selfish he is and was and all that stuff. So if we're talking about a guy that maybe didn't max out on his potential or didn't win enough, remember, never been to a finals, never had an MVP, then okay. But I'm not gonna say he's overrated, but I'm not gonna sit here and clam and go crazy over him like how everybody else does. Because for me, if we're talking greatest small forwards of all time, even if we take out the titles, is he still top 10? Because I'm, you know, you still got guys like Worthy, you still got guys like Scottie Pippen play both ends of the floor. You still got Dr. J, then you got Bird, then you got LeBron. So it's tough. It's tough. But you know, he definitely was a great player. But coach was wrong for that. Coach, and it seems like he always was wrong.
The Switch is asking. He said, "All ball suckers, Melo or Paul Pierce for their career." Before you get out of here,
I did a post on that. I'm taking Paul Pierce. I think Paul Pierce was very underrated. And I think he had wow. Because people forget how crazy Paul Pierce was in Kansas as well. Wow. I might go with Pierce, but you can't go wrong if you go Melo. Like I said, if we just taking the chip out and we just solely going on basketball, Melo was a bad MFer. Like, you know, put, you know, whatever dislike somebody may have for him, or all right, he didn't win like LeBron. Nah, forget all that. We talking purely basketball. He's up there with them, but is he that much better or greater than guys? I'm taking Paul Pierce. I like Paul Pierce game better, but Melo ain't no slouch. You can't go wrong.
See, I like Paul Pierce's game better, but there's no way I'm going to argue with you if you say, "Well, I'm bringing my guy Melo to war," and it's like it's going to be a war. So, like, come on, now we're talking about for us. These are our legends. Everybody else forgets about Paul Pierce and stuff like that, and clearly George Karl is not one of us, because George Karl forgets a lot of stuff. You talk about overrated. Now that's a guy I've always had no patience for.
Me neither.
People, bro. Back in '96, when he went, I remember reading in the paper that he said something to Michael Jordan. I thought it was an overlooking thing, and Jordan said, "Oh yeah," and he went at it. Jordan didn't like him back then, so I thought, you know, Mike is petty. But remember, he didn't let Gary Payton guard Michael Jordan until Game 3, right, of the NBA Finals. We saw what the stats are compared to. I don't care what Jordan said in that documentary. Gary Payton, the glove, I'm good with that. No, you're not, Mike. He gave you a problem.
Yeah.
2 years before that, let's not forget, the first team to ever blow a lead or a series to the worst team that you could possibly play in the playoffs, the Seattle Supersonics, with Gary Payton. Same Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, that left strength. You, George Karl, somehow couldn't beat the Denver Nuggets.
The Denver Nuggets, the famous picture of him laying on the floor with the ball. Yeah, exactly.
No Robert Pack. There was no shortened season. There's no excuse for this. Like the Knicks, they beat the Heat in the shortened season, so there's no excuse for you. That was, and then you did that with Gary Payton. You did that with the Nuggets against the Nuggets. And let's fast forward to the Milwaukee Bucks. That was the last straw I had. You broke up that big three with Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, and Sam Cassell. Way too young. Y'all made the conference finals, went 7 games to the eventual guys who were in the championship with Allen Iverson and them. Y'all should have smoked the 76ers, actually, if we're being real. George Karl, the nerve of you to call this man overrated. I don't care how many wins you have. You're overrated as a great coach. Carmelo Anthony is top 10 scoring. He's top 10 in the category he's known for. But we give a lot of criticism to Carmelo. George Karl, you need to watch your mouth. He's still overrated?
great point. But my thing is this: even if Carmelo was none of these things, even if he never turned into Melo, that's still not something you tell your player. You see the problem he had with Kenyon Martin? Y'all could YouTube that. Kenyon Martin hate his guts. This guy literally was a piece of you know what. And how he was able to coach that long, I do not know how. Like you said, I couldn't stand looking at George Karl. You watch the NBA games and they show him on the sideline, and I turn the TV. I don't want to see him. He looks like an evil Jack Nicholson. So it's just something weird about him. But once again, whether Melo turned out to be a bust or turned out to be this Melo, you do not tell your player that. No. So George Karl was fouled for that, man. That's why George Karl is somewhere right now in Alaska. Ain't nobody talking to him, don't want to hear from him, none of that. He in a bunker somewhere.
Just tweeting away. And that says another thing. Like, we've heard plenty of coaches and things that go on in the NBA or just in general. When it doesn't work, this is what happens. There's no way other players, other coaches, other GMs, other people, like they probably feel bad for him because, he had cancer. He was sitting down on camera, with, looking crazy. Like, this is the reason why you see other players don't come and empathize with you. Like the fact that they didn't come around and like throw a fundraiser for George Karl. There's a reason for that. Look, let's not forget. Again, you like to say, come to talk out of the side of your mouth, talking about, Kenyon Martin, these guys wasn't raised without a father. Okay, maybe they weren't. But it sounds like you shouldn't be the guy to be talking about these things. You overrated. Your mouth ain't working. Pause. That slick talk, it doesn't work for you. Like, it might work for Gary Payton in a second. I would love to hear if Gary Payton really likes this guy, because Gary Payton's the king of all this trash talk. Listen, but there's no way a guy like this is not respected and beloved, especially for him to have, the Seattle Sonics and Carmelo Anthony Nuggets. You had all that. The only thing he gets props for is the underrated Nuggets team after that, when we traded with a whole squad for Melo, and they had the kid Ty Lawson and all that. They were, Iguodala went over there. They known for that, but that really wasn't you. That was a bunch of underrated players that stuck together, and I don't know how you even coach that, but we'll give you a little bit of props for that. But you talk about overrated, bro. You're a bum, George Karl. Forget overrated. You're a bum.
George Karl, man. Whatever's going on in your life, hopefully it keeps up with it. Continue to be a piece of you know what, because that was terrible.